When do you think you've been proudest of using your own voice? Where you've been like, yes, I'm proud that I stood up for myself in that moment and let myself be heard.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star. Doesn't matter who it is. I'm going to try and not give this away. Everyone's going to be, let's go through. What's it called?
IMBD?
Hugh Jackman? No, it's not Hugh. It's not Tom Cruise. Anyway, I've done many movies back in the day. But I remember there was a moment. And this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. But because this person was number one on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back. And I would cry walking off set. This person would literally look at me in front of the whole crew and say, you call yourself an actor, this is what I have to work with. What is this? And I stood there just breaking. This happens. And I remember the next day I walked on and I said, you get off my set. This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared.
Yes.
And I looked at this person and I said, you can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again. And then I remember the producers came up and said, you can't do this to number one. We have to let this person be on set. And I said, but the person can turn around and I can act to the back head.
Wow.
And I did. And I remember thinking that time, I was so scared. I feel it now when I'm saying it. But I thought, oh, it shouldn't have to be that way. And I remember going to the director afterwards and saying, what is happening? And the director said, you're right. I am not taking care of everyone else. I'm trying to fluff this person because it's so unstable. And it was great from that moment. But it took so long for me to get to that. But from that moment, I have never let myself get to a point when I've got home and gone, why did that happen?
And that's the definition of mother.
It is, isn't it? Thank you.
That is what we're about. We love
and
that.
And the person is, I'm kidding.
And the person is.
And the person is, no. Also, everyone changes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's so interesting you say that, and then you go on to a shoot like June, where it seems like you're in this space with such, the actors you get to work with are just incredible. Amazing. Director incredible, everyone left, right and centre incredible. How empowering is it to be in a space like that, knowing what you've been through to try and find your voice? And how safe do you feel to use your voice in those situations now?
Super safe. Yeah. Super safe to use my voice. No need to use a voice, as in we're all having it and we're all sharing it. It comes back to what I said. It wasn't a safe director. It wasn't a safe environment on that previous film. But this one was. This was a director who has chosen people who are kind and professional, and we're surrounded by legendary, or if it's Warner Brothers, or whoever, who hold our backs, and it's a safety, and that trickles down. You know, there are probably people on the set going, well, I didn't feel the same way, but there will always be people. I won't see everything. But from my perspective, I was sitting there just feeling like I was holding everyone's hand. I would sit on a throne, and I'm like, God, that's Christopher Walken. I had moments with Christopher Walken where I would pretend like I didn't see him. Because
Well, it's handy you had the veil.
Well, the chain of the veil. But he would look over and I'd go... because I was so scared of an interaction with him, I didn't really know what to say. I still don't find my voice in some aspects.
I just love the fact you're literally on a throne.
I know.
Dressed as the Reverend Mother, the mother, and you're like, oh my God,
gosh, Chris Walken. Someone said to me that he liked Marlon Brando, and I was like, I can use that to my gaining. So I remember walking up one day and I went, God, talk about Marlon Brando. Do you have a good story? And then we were off.
Tell me your Marlon Brando story.
Yeah.
Who do you think you learnt the most from working with on this set in terms of your co-stars?
Timothy and I, we work very differently. And the first one was trickier than the second one. As in, tricky was great and he's phenomenal, but we don't have the same technique and we didn't have the same character. He was going through, you've seen it, the transformation and carrying a whole film. I'm basically playing a mom. I use a voice a bit. I kick ass. I'm not saying it's not difficult, but it's not really. I'm just having fun. And I'm doing a plethora of different things, you know? He's carrying things. So I remember the moments where I would giggle and have fun, and I could sense that it wasn't really helping him. So I think I learned a lot from looking at the process of one of our incredible independent actors on a set of a studio movie when I am born into studio films, it feels like. and the respect that you need to hold for everyone, and seeing his transformation into the second one as well, seeing how he has landed into this. I've learned from him a lot without him knowing it.
That's so special because that says so much about how great teamwork is.
Yeah.
And how when you lean on other people and you listen to other people and you read them in interesting ways, you can learn so much about yourself and about others.
It's so interesting. And I think there are moments where I might have wanted more from him, but he didn't want to give more. And then I have to sit with that and think, why are you not? Come on. But then the scene dynamic is much more interesting between us because there's the effects. There's something there. But, you know, they say cut, and I'm like, hey, does anyone want to play backgammon? Everyone doesn't want to play backgammon, you know?
Are you the fun pusher on set?
I mean,
Yeah.
I have fun, you know? But I'm not really going through the transformation. I'm quite easy breezy.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm like, la, 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 you're going to get killed. Okay, action. Anyway.
Done. Anyway, what are we up to the weekend? What's the hot gossip?
That's me. And I sometimes think, am I not a serious actor? Maybe I'm not. I don't know. And cry, okay.
Breaking news, you're a very serious actor.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
really am.
when you actually think about it, your CV is just stunning. Like, when you list it out, 3 Mission Impossible movies, 2 Dune movies, The Greatest Showman, Silo, Girl on a Train. I mean, and you started out on Swedish soap operas.
Yeah.
So this has been a real journey for you to get to this point where you're in such a massive blockbuster like this. Were there any points in that journey where you thought this was an improbable dream in a way?
I feel like it's as if I'm still in that space where I just sometimes take myself out of it and I go, what's happening? Like, what is this? Like, how am I a part of this? But then I look at it and I think it's been such a natural transition, and I could sit here and go, it's amazing, it's incredible. And it is, but for me internally, I was thrown into mission, 10 years ago? And then I've done another mission, and then another mission, and then a June. I've had all of these incredibly high studio, intense films. I did Hercules, which we don't need to talk about because we don't need to promote directors like that. But I've done big studio films. So it feels like my body's cradled into the masses.